Hello and welcome to Making Mindfulness Fun. I'm Isabelle and today I'm sharing what each Enneagram type is like as a child and tips for parenting them. Specifically in this video, I'm talking about the Enneagram Type 1 in childhood. Welcome to Making Mindfulness Fun. I'm Isabelle. Here at Making Mindfulness Fun, we help you on your journey to higher consciousness so you can experience more joy, love, and emotional liberation. In this video series, I'm talking about what each Enneagram type is like as a child. Specifically in this video, the Enneagram Type 1. Now, maybe you know what your child's Enneagram is, and maybe you don't already, and that's why you're watching these videos. And maybe you're a little hesitant. Or maybe you're even someone who's already obsessed with the Enneagram. But the point is, what I believe is that the Enneagram is a great tool for parenting kids. I'm a kids mindfulness coach and I've seen how much it has helped kids to know their Enneagram. So if you're hesitant to get into the Enneagram, keep watching. And please, before we get into the video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and turn on those post notifications because we try to at least put out a video every single day. So hopefully that when you watch this video, you'll be inspired to look more into the Enneagram and you see how beneficial it can be because each Enneagram type is so different. And by knowing your child's Enneagram, you can set them up for more fulfillment and happiness, and you can see where they're going to struggle the most and where they're going to be to thrive the most. So please watch on and watch the rest of the series to find out what your child's Enneagram type is. So let's talk about the Enneagram Type 1 as a child. The Enneagram Type 1 is called the Perfectionist. They are driven by the desire to be perfect. Now, each Enneagram type has their own core desire, and that's what the Type 1 child is, to be perfect, unlike the Type 7 or Type 9, which you'll see in further videos. So if you have a Type 1 child, they're going to tend to probably be very organized. They're going to follow the rules. They're the kind of kid who does school when they're told. They'll go through all the workbooks in order. They'll sit down. They'll make their bed. They're going to be organized. They're going to follow the rules. That's just how they want to do it. You probably won't have trouble as much disciplining them. And the chances are they probably have a little bit of anger issues. Not necessarily to say that they're hot-tempered, but more to say that you'll notice that they behave for a while and then they'll suddenly blow up and you'll wonder where all this anger comes from. Is this sounding familiar? Then your child is probably Enneagram Type 1. So an example of this is I used to have a student who is a Type 1, and she was stereotypical Type 1. She loved to be organized. She was still creative, and she just followed the rules. She loved to be the leader of the groups too. But her biggest struggle was her inner critic. Because they have this core desire of perfection, they have a little bit too much of that, and then they are really hypercritical of themselves. So something you want to look out for is if you're parenting a Type 1 is look out for that inner critic, because they're going to be harder on yourselves than you can even feel like you can be as a parent. So notice if you have a Type 1 child, do they have that strong inner critic? And how can you help them silence that inner critic? Maybe you need to give them more space to practice self-love. I recommend personally, though, is giving them a creative outlet. So for example, like I said, with the student I had, she was a Type 1 and she wasn't being nearly creative enough. So I had her one time just working with her. I said, just write a poem. Just let your creativity flow. And afterwards, she felt so good. She was thriving. Her inner critic was silenced. It has a huge effect. So this is super important if you have a Type 1 child to make sure they have a creative outlet. And so there's number one is make sure they have a creative outlet. Number two, help them notice their inner critic. And number three, they're going to be naturally controlling, which is good in some aspects, but it can also be too much. So pay attention to where they're organizing or having a perfectionist or wanting to control in their lives, because Type 1s, they like to control. It makes them feel good and it makes them feel as if everything's in order. So giving them spaces that are healthy for them to control, to lead, whether that's with their friends or directing movies with their friends or anywhere where they can control and be the leader, that's going to help them thrive. But also notice where they're unhealthily being that leader. Are they controlling their siblings? Are they trying to control things that you as the parent are allowed to control, like dinners or rules? Notice that and try to find a healthy balance of where they can be that perfectionist. All right. So I hope this video helped you decide if your child is a type Enneagram 1. The most important thing to just remember those 3 tips is let them be creative, notice their inner critic, and give them spaces to control and to relax. If you're interested in learning more about the Enneagram though, I highly recommend you check out my Closer Connections bundle, where I take you guys guided through how to parent each Enneagram type and how, as a parent, what Enneagram type you are, how you can thrive. So you can set up your entire household for closer connection and more thriving, more to be able to thrive more. So that is linked below in the description. Check out the Closer Connections bundle if you are interested in really using the Enneagram to set up your family life for more success. Leave a comment below if you found this video helpful, and please stay tuned for our Enneagram Type 2 child video.